What if I told you that working harder is the slowest possible way to get rich? For years, you've probably been sold a lie. Climb the corporate ladder, save every penny, and maybe, in 40 or 50 years, you can retire comfortably. It's a safe path, a sensible path. It's also the path that almost guarantees you will never achieve true financial freedom. The world's wealthiest people don't play by those rules. They don't just trade their time for money, and they definitely don't rely on a single paycheck. They operate under a completely different set of principles, a ruthless framework for building empires at lightning speed. Most people are playing checkers while billionaires are playing a different game entirely. This isn't about grinding out 100-hour weeks. It's about a series of brutal mindset shifts and financial strategies that multiply wealth. In this video, I'm going to reveal the 7 ruthless rules they use to do it. And you'll want to stay until the end, because the final rule is what separates the millionaires from the billionaires, and it's the one most people are too afraid to ever use. Section 1. The Mindset and Psychology Rules. Rule number 1. Destroy short-term thinking. The average person is drowning in the short term. We're worried about this month's bills, this quarter's performance review, this year's vacation. Billionaires are obsessed with the decade. They are utterly ruthless in sacrificing today's comfort for tomorrow's empire. Think about Jeff Bezos. In the early days of Amazon, he was relentlessly criticized for not turning a profit. Wall Street was screaming for short-term gains, but Bezos just ignored them. He was playing a long game, reinvesting every single dollar back into the business to build an unassailable infrastructure for the future. He understood that dominating the market in 10 years was infinitely more valuable than a small profit today. This is a ruthless act. It means saying no to things that feel good right now, quick profits, easy wins, popular opinion, all in favor of a much grander, long-term vision. While everyone else is busy picking up pennies, billionaires are building the machines that will mint money for decades to come. Have you ever made a financial decision based on immediate needs or fears? That's the exact thinking you have to destroy. Your goal isn't just to survive the month, it's to win the decade. It requires a brutal focus on where you're going, even if the path is much harder right now. Rule number 2, treat failure as a ruthless data point. Most people are terrified of failure. We see it as a personal indictment, a sign that we're not good enough. Billionaires see failure as nothing more than data. It's a cold, hard, unemotional data point that tells them what doesn't work. Elon Musk's first 3 SpaceX rockets literally blew up. Can you imagine the public humiliation? The financial loss? Most people would have quit. But Musk isn't most people. He didn't see explosions, he saw data. Each failure gave him the critical information that led to the 4th, successful launch. When he was ousted as the CEO of his own company, X.com, which later became PayPal, that failure just pushed him to find the next world-changing ventures. This mindset is ruthless because it forces you to detach your ego from the outcome. When a venture fails, you don't retreat to lick your wounds. You dissect it like a scientist. What went wrong? What was the flawed assumption? What did this failure just teach me? Bill Gates' first company, Trafo Data, was a total flop. But the lessons he learned from that experience were instrumental in building Microsoft. Failure isn't the opposite of success. For billionaires, it's a mandatory part of the process. It's the tuition you pay for an education in empire building. Rule number 3. Master your emotional weakness. The financial markets run on 2 emotions, fear and greed. The average investor is a puppet to both. They buy high in a wave of euphoria and sell low in a fit of panic. Billionaires do the exact opposite because they've mastered their own emotional weaknesses. Warren Buffett is the king of this. His most famous advice is to be fearful when others are greedy and greedy when others are fearful. This isn't just a catchy phrase, it's a ruthless psychological discipline. During the 2008 financial crisis, when the entire world was panicking, Buffett was calmly investing billions into companies like Goldman Sachs. He wasn't swayed by the hysteria because his decisions are based on rational analysis, not on what everyone else is doing. This requires an almost inhuman level of emotional control. You have to be able to watch the world burn and calmly assess if there are assets worth buying in the ashes. You have to watch your friends get rich on a speculative bubble and have the discipline to stay out, knowing it will eventually pop. Billionaires know that emotional decisions are almost always bad financial decisions. They build systems, checklists, and principles that stop their own human fallibility from sabotaging their wealth. They don't trust their feelings with money, and neither should you. If these rules are making sense to you, do me a quick favor and hit that like button and subscribe to Wealth Saga. Click sound effects. We're here to bring you the powerful strategies you need to build your own financial story. Section 2, Practical Business and Finance Strategies. Rule number 4, Weaponize leverage. Many of us are taught that all debt is bad. A mortgage is a burden, a car loan is a liability. Billionaires, on the other hand, often see debt as a weapon. They have mastered the art of using other people's money, OPM, to build their fortunes at a much faster rate. Here's a simple example. A billionaire wants to buy a $100 million office building. Instead of using their own money, they might put down $10 million and borrow the other $90 million from a bank at a low interest rate. If the building's value increases to $120 million, their $10 million investment just generated a $20 million profit. That's a 200% return. If they had paid in cash, their return would have been a mere 20%. And they apply this principle in many areas. They borrow against their stock portfolios to fund new ventures, which can help them avoid the taxes they'd have to pay if they sold the stocks. Rule number 5. Hunt for asymmetric risk. Most people think about risk and reward symmetrically. Risk $1 to maybe make $1. Billionaires hunt for asymmetry. They look for opportunities where they can risk $1 for the chance to make $50, $100, or even $1,000. This is the core idea of venture capital. An investor might put money into 10 different startups. They go in knowing that 9 of them will probably fail. That's the small, capped risk on each one. But if just one of those startups becomes the next Google or Uber, the return from that single success can be so massive that it pays for all the failures and still generates an astronomical profit. The upside is nearly unlimited, while the downside is capped at the initial investment. This isn't gambling, it's a calculated strategy. Billionaires don't bet the farm on one idea. They place a series of small, intelligent bets on opportunities that have explosive potential. They're looking for what are called positive skew investments. Rule number 6, build systems, not jobs. A job pays you once. A business you have to personally run pays you once. A system can pay you forever. Billionaires aren't in the business of creating jobs for themselves. They're in the business of building automated systems that generate revenue whether they're physically present or not. Ray Dalio, founder of the massive hedge fund Bridgewater Associates, didn't just build a company. He built a system of principles. He coded his decision-making process into a set of rules that could be followed by anyone in the company. This created a machine-like organization that runs on an idea meritocracy. The system, not one single person, is what drives the success. The average freelancer or small business owner is often just a highly paid employee in their own company. If they stop working, the income stops. A billionaire builds the machine, perfects it, and then lets the machine do the work. This could be through franchising, licensing intellectual property, or creating software that sells while they sleep. Rule number 7. Scale through ruthless delegation. You cannot build an empire alone. Millionaires often brag about outworking everyone, but billionaires talk about out-delegating everyone. This final rule is the one that trips up so many ambitious people because it requires you to give up control. In the early days of Microsoft, Bill Gates wrote much of the code himself, but he realized that to truly scale, he couldn't be the one doing everything. He had to hire brilliant people like Steve Ballmer and trust them to run entire divisions of the company. That's the only way to achieve exponential growth. Richard Branson is a master of this. He freely admits he's not an expert in accounting or making aircraft. His genius is in finding the right people who are experts and empowering them to build businesses under the Virgin brand. He delegates so he can focus on the big picture and hunt for the next opportunity. This is ruthless because it means firing yourself from jobs you might even be great at. Conclusion. So what's the takeaway from all this? Here are the 7 ruthless rules one more time. Destroy short-term thinking. Treat failure as a data point. Master your emotional weakness. Weaponize leverage. Hunt for asymmetric risk. Build systems, not jobs. And scale through ruthless delegation. Did you notice the pattern? None of these rules are about pinching pennies or picking one lucky stock. They represent a fundamental shift in both mindset and strategy. It's about playing offense with your money, not just defense. It's about building a financial empire, not just a retirement nest egg. The conventional path is crowded for a reason. It's comfortable, it's safe, and it's slow. The path of the billionaire is ruthless, demanding, and incredibly fast. The only question left is, which path will you choose? If you're ready to learn more about the mindset that separates the rich from the ultra-wealthy, check out the next video on my channel, Wealth Saga. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video with someone who needs to hear this.